Hello, I'm Sheila of Young. Today I went into the market to buy a few things I didn't have at home, and I had just 5,000 naira on me. And I was able to just get this meat, the yam, eggs, and plantain for 5,000 naira. And you know what? It got me thinking, how were our parents surviving? What could this 5,000 naira of today have gotten for them then? Join me in finding out. Taking a walk down memory lane, wondering what life was about 30 or 40 years ago, what the standard of living was, what the purchasing power of the naira was. Our respondents give us a glimpse into that life. They reminisce about the good old days, wishing life got better or even stayed as good as it was.
There is hardly anything to compare it with the present day realities. In those days, if you earn 5,000, you probably were in the top bracket in the economic rating. About 40 years ago, I was just trying to go into life. I remember about almost 50 years ago when I got out of the secondary school. My first work experience started in the Daily Times. I was a proofreader by then, earning about 40 naira a month, and I was just starting life. I wasn't up to 20 by then, and with 40 naira, you could pay your bill, feed well, pay for a room apartment, which could cost about 4 or 5 naira, depending on where it is situated.
Back then, life was very good. Nigeria was doing quite well, occasioned by, the oil, petrodollars, as they called it then. We were making a lot of money from the sale of petroleum products. And it was over that period of time, I believe, that the refineries in the country were built. They were not built at the same time, but over that period of time, the refineries were built. So one can safely say that even though life was comparatively okay then, but that was also when the problem of Nigeria started.
When I started practicing journalism, you won't believe my salary was 27 naira. As a reporter in Daily Times, I rose to become the assistant science editor. My salary went up to 80 naira. And from this 80 naira, life was so comfortable for me. Anyway, I moved on to NAN on grade level 8 step 2 as a reporter. My salary then was 234 naira 16 kobo. From that money, I was able to save 100 naira every month. Then in 1978, return ticket to Britain, for instance, for 300 naira from Lagos to London and back to Lagos. For just 300 naira, you didn't even need a visa. Life was comfortable, everything was good. I would buy a whole chicken there for 2 naira 50 kobo. It was fine. But I remember even at that time, when, for instance, a cup of gari went up to, I think, 5 naira or something, my father used to lament that Nigeria was going to crumble. Now compare that time to this time. You cannot even buy sweet for 5 naira now.
So when you compare the past and the present, you will know that the past was rosier, was sweeter, and was more peaceful than what it is today. 5,000, that's a huge money by then, and only few people could be in that bracket. Others, just a few notes of naira. But life was perfectly in order. I also remember a graduate by then. After the 4-year program, a job was waiting for him or her, and a car loan of 4,800 was awaiting. It could also be 4,800 and 6,600 in those days, but you are assured of a job, quality job, and a car. Those are in their 20s. And life was flashy, life was enjoyable.
Back then, life was, standard of living was a lot better than it is now. Even though there have been developments, in various sectors, there have been a lot of developments in various sectors, yet the standard of living has continued to fall. When I joined NAN in 1984, I think my first salary was 327 naira. I think then a one egg you could buy for 10 kobo, if I'm not mistaken. You could still buy things in kobo with the kobo. Just imagine 327 naira today. What can it buy for anybody?
1982, when I was in NAN, I bought a Volkswagen car. A Volkswagen Passat, sorry. Full options. When I say full options, I mean air conditioned, stereo, everything was inside it. Guess what? For 6,280 naira. Only 2 weeks ago, I bought a car battery for 13,000 naira. That's about twice the price of Passat that I bought in 1982. Passat TS then was the rave of automobiles in this country. Life was more pleasant.
They imagined just how much better it would have been if Nigerians did not abandon the farms and agriculture to focus on crude and its enticements.
In those days, our mainstay was agriculture. We had cocoa in the west, we had granite in the north, and we also in the eastern part we had palm produce. But when from the discovery of oil, we abandoned the farms and we focused mainly on the booming oil. That was the starting point of our doomsday.
We were depending on the export of agricultural produce, before oil was discovered. So, following the discovery of oil, it was like agriculture was jettisoned, became abandoned. And so we were making a lot, because we were making a lot of money from oil. It was also good that a lot of infrastructure was put in place. But truth of the matter is that those monies that came at that time were not very well managed. So progressively we saw that we started declining from then. 30 years ago, we started declining.
Our respondents attribute the decline in economic growth to lack of planning, inadequate diversification, and security challenges in recent times.
We did not plan well. We did not diversify enough. We concentrated on oil and its revenue. By the time the whole thing caught up with us, we were just left behind. It's a known statement that those countries like Malaysia and other countries too, which depended on us for our agri produce now have surpassed us and are producing. If we had done everything to hold on to agri, even side by side with oil and petroleum products, things could have been much better by now. But because of that discovery, we abandoned the farm, and that led to our slide economically.
Had it been that back then the necessary diversification of the various economy sectors of the economy had been done, today I believe we would have been measuring up with the G7 countries, the most developed countries in the world. Because back then when I was still working, when you travel out to these neighboring countries, either East Africa or West Africa, they'll be telling us that Nigeria is the United States of Africa. So what are we doing? That God has blessed us with all the resources, but that we have refused to make Africa proud.
Security-wise, this country was fantastic. You prefer to travel in the night, across the country. But today, even to travel daytime, your heart is in your mouth. There's a lot of insecurity, a lot of brigandage, a lot of, you run away from kidnappers. Kidnapping then, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, kidnapping was rare. If a child was kidnapped, the whole community would be in trouble. Everybody would be running helter-skelter and things like it. I remember those days also. Our parents used to tell us to be wary of where we go. Even then, kidnapping was not this high. Things were better then. And I hope, and I'm thinking, and I pray that things will still turn to be better for this country.
We all hope that Nigeria will regain her glory, be the great nation she once was. But for that to happen, we need to correct the mistakes that have been made along the way. Corruption needs to take a back seat. Producing and consuming made in Nigeria products need to be imbibed.